Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing a deck that is heavily inspired by Jorge Chica, whom I just recorded the league with. This is ComboNought. Now, it's like Stiflenought, except we are leaning much heavier into the combo of potentially hitting for 12 trample and drawing 12 cards with Curie Emergent Intelligence. We have 4 copies of Curie. Pardon the mismatched art. This was the only one I could find. We also have Doorkeeper Thrall. And basically, these 2 cards give our Phyrexian Dreadnought the usefulness where otherwise, historically over the 30-year history of Magic the Gathering, this card would just die instantly when it came into play. Let me read the text. It's a 1 mana, 12/12 trample. That's right. But you have to sacrifice it when it comes into play, unless you can stop the trigger with Doorkeeper Thrall, Stifle, or you can exile it with the trigger on the stack to Curie, and Curie becomes a Dreadnought, except you draw 12 cards when she connects. Incredibly powerful creature. The rest of the deck is built around not also having a good Murktide plan, not also necessarily having a good control plan, but getting Phyrexian Dreadnought into play. We have 3 Urza Sagas. These can search your deck and find a Phyrexian Dreadnought and put it into play where it can immediately be used by Curie. Or if you have a search trigger on the stack, you just flash in Doorkeeper, and then this doesn't trigger when it comes into play. We have a lot of disruption in the form of 4 Force of Will, 3 Daze, 1 Spell Pierce, 4 Stifle, and 3 Wasteland. And you may be thinking, like, why are you playing a Spell Pierce? Because normally I don't play Spell Pierce because it doesn't hit creatures, but I do want additional interaction, and with the 3 Urza Sagas, I don't want to constantly be bouncing lands back into my hand. The real backup plan of this deck is Tamiyo, who creates constructs every time, or who creates clue tokens every time, which count as artifacts for the constructs you can create with Urza Saga. So you can create kind of a mini army of constructs, and they'll get bigger every turn that Tamiyo attacks and creates new clues. So we have a single non-Phyrexian Dreadnought target that we can get with the Saga, which is Lava Spur Boots. Lava Spur Boots. This is a really cool equipment that gives your creature +1/+0 and haste and ward 1. So if you bring in a Dreadnought off of Urza Saga and you already have this, you can just equip it and you can immediately swing for 13 damage. Or you can immediately swing with the Curie the turn she comes out so that she can immediately draw a card. That's right, she draws a card whenever she connects if her base power is 1, which it should be unless somebody's cast, put a -1/-1 counter on her. Her base power is still 1 even if she's somehow been debuffed by, for example, a Tamiyo. And that is another reason to have Lava Spur Boots in the deck. So this is kind of a tempo deck in the sense that we have the Stifles, but we are often aiming the Stifle at the Dreadnought trigger, so we don't necessarily want to Stifle every fetch activation that our opponent does. Let's take a look at the sideboard. We have an additional target for Urza Saga in Soul Guide Lantern. I was really torn as to whether to put this in the deck or to put in Ghost Vacuum. I like this because it just completely removes your opponent's graveyard, and if you don't need to use it, you can just tap it and draw a card. You don't have to pay any mana or anything. It's not like Nile Spellbomb. You just immediately get the card. So it's not bad. So you're immediately recouping the card that you lost when Urza Saga went to the graveyard. I'm also playing a single Volcanic Island so that I can get 3 Prismatic Endings and I can end for different colors. I'm not bothering playing Red Blast because Red Blast effects just aren't that great right now. Instead, I'm playing 3 Hydroblasts, and I'm also playing 4 Consigned to Memory, and I'm playing 3 Fairy Macabre. So, and I'm playing this basic Plains. This comes in if we're in a Blood Moon matchup. And that's really the main reason, is because if you have Plains and you have Island, then whatever third land you have will produce red, and you will be able to Prismatic End a Blood Moon or a Magus of the Moon. That's really the only reason. We don't actually have that many white cards in our deck, but Prismatic Ending is really strong right now. As always, we're going to play a full 5 rounds. I hope you enjoy this league, and I also hope you leave comments with timestamps whenever you see me make a punt that I may not have caught, or if you just have feedback or questions about the play decisions. My whole goal with this channel is to just become a better Legacy pilot, and you will not only be helping me, you'll be helping everybody else who's reading the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Once I have 1,000 subscribers, I can get into the MTGO creator program and I'll be able to access all the cards in the card pool. And I should be able to record a lot more variety in the leagues that I'm playing. Also, a quick note that this is the literal last day before the ban announcement. So you are going to see some Psychic Frogs. You are going to see some Vexing Baubles. Note that I'm not playing any of those cards. So this deck should be even better after they hopefully ban those 2 cards. See you in round 1. All right. And a quick note on this. I'm not playing the Oculus, whatever it's called, Abomination, the giant eyeball monster. I'm not playing that because it costs like 50 ticks, and I don't really want to spend 50 ticks on a card that I'm not even like that convinced is that great. I know a lot of people who swear by it, but 3 drops in Legacy, in my humble opinion, they really need to win the game. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get them to resolve with all the days, stifles, wastelands, everything out there. So I'm hoping that we can do okay even without those in our deck. But if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see that they did come out a couple times and they were really good. Oculus Aberration, I think is the name of it. Giant eyeball monster. All right. We've got a fan in round 1 who said, good luck, have fun. I love your videos. This is what we signed up to do. We've got Phyrexian Dreadnought. We don't have a blue card for Force. We have a Doorkeeper Thrall. We've got a Plow. They are likely on breakfast. I'm going to keep this. Greetings from Germany. All right. So I did take the Surveil Land out of my deck. With the Urza Sagas, you just can't afford to have ETB tap lands a lot of times, in my humble opinion. We do have the option of going ahead and getting an Urza Saga going, because if we have Doorkeeper Thrall out and we can even force to protect it, then we could potentially have a double Phyrexian Dreadnought situation. I don't think that they have Wasteland. I think I'm going to do that. That might sound totally crazy, but this is learning. We're like much more of a combo deck than we are a control deck here. And my reasoning here is next turn I can, potentially get Doorkeeper Thrall out, or I can interact and then I can put Doorkeeper Thrall out later, and then I can have 2 Dreadnoughts, which I think they're likely to have 1 removal spell, but I don't think they're likely to have 2. They are able to flip a Narcomoeba into play, which is pretty good. Further evidence that they're likely on the deck that I thought they were on, Breakfast. It's worth noting that Doorkeeper Thrall does stop Cephalid Breakfast or the Cephalid Illusionist combo. They've got a pretty good board considering it's turn 2. Lots of A's, lots of B's. They're going to swing for 2. They may very well have days. I'm not in a good position to be able to do anything about that. Oh man, this is ships passing in the night. Magic the Gathering right here. Okay. You drew Plow for the turn, which is pretty good. Okay. So I think what we do here, probably play out Strand. Yeah, I think we just play out Strand and then we pass. And then the main thing we're worried about is if they try to jam the actual Illusionist, I can put Doorkeeper on the stack first. If they jam Nadu, that's really bad. Their own Urza Saga. If they jam Nadu, I probably have to go ahead and plow the... Well, I'll force. Okay, so they're attacking first. I think this is a window actually where I can put out the Doorkeeper Thrall and then block this. So that'll save me having to plow. I don't believe they have any way to punish this. They can just redirect the damage to Narcomoeba, but that does get rid of a creature. I will force to defend this because this is my way to get Dreadnoughts into play next turn. They're going to redirect the damage. So we could be dead. I mean, we were on the draw. Like, I don't hate this play. I needed to put it into play anyway and might as well get a little bit of value for it because we are going to be putting out these Dreadnoughts and it's not an instant kill. That's a force. Let's see whether they have days. If they have days, probably just scoop it up. They may not actually... I mean, we could draw a second one. This is the days. They're bouncing. No, they're brainstorming in response. So there's still a little bit of hope, but not a lot. If this leaves play, we will have a turn cycle. They do have the days. Okay, well, this is dead. Now, they don't have the mana to be able to put the creature out, but we're going to have to go get our other card, our haste card, instead. We are going to have double Tundra, though, so we can definitely get rid of... We can stop their combo if we need to. Holy cow, that's so good. All right, we're going to float. And I'm going to go ahead and Doorkeeper Troll now. Okay. Now we're going to go get a Phyrexian Dreadnought. I'm going to play out another land. Do we want to play the second Phyrexian Dreadnought, or do we want to reserve the ability to plow the Nomad in Core or something else nasty that comes up? I think we want to chill. Yeah. They've got 3 cards in hand. They had to brainstorm at an inopportune time. They had a daze. I think we can probably plow the Nadu, or plow the Nomad if they have Nadu. And then they still get 4 triggers, but it's less than 6. We're not in a good place. They found a Ponder. Okay, they found another Saga. And keep in mind, they can only do 4 total triggers. They're not going to be doing them next turn, but they could play out a creature. If they find another Nomad, that's bad news. Savannah. Okay, they've got a lot of mana. If they... Okay, Narcomoeba. So that is... oh, no, that's just Narcomoeba's trigger. Okay, so what they revealed, here we can see, they revealed a Ponder. Okay, so they do have Prismatic Ending, which sucks. I'm going to definitely plow Nadu, and then I'm going to play a another Dreadnought next turn. They can attack, it's free. They don't... Okay. They are going to get another trigger when I plow, but it needs to be done, frankly. This has to go. And I mean, they may just reveal another one. They reveal Cavern of Souls. Okay, well that sucks, but it's not the worst. That's more important, getting that off the table. And now we're going to play the Dreadnought, and we're going to pass with a single card in our hand. We're going to need to hit them at least twice. Yeah, this is not feeling good. But again, a lot of this is by virtue of us being on the draw. They can go get another Shuko. I don't know that they have any other things to get. I mean, a Pithing Needle doesn't really do anything here. They could create a Construct just as a blocker. That makes sense. They're floating. This makes me think they have something nasty coming. I mean, like with double Ponder, they can definitely go find another Nadu. This daze is pretty terrible, especially when they have a Cavern out. The fact that they're not creating constructs tells me they have a lot of confidence in their ability to find stuff with Ponder. Yeah, I mean, like, hitting them twice or probably 3 times, it's an eternity. They didn't shuffle, so that makes me think they... Okay, Illusionist is fine. Again, they have to get rid of actual Doorkeeper or the Thassa's Oracle trigger won't work. And if they don't realize that, that's a problem for them. But I think what they're going to do is probably put back the dead cards, then trigger, and if they have that other card, in what they can do is they can put Plow and yeah, like they can Memory's Journey, and they can put Plow and Thassa's Oracle on their deck, and then they can draw those, and then they can get rid of the Doorkeeper, and then they can Oracle before they die. So at this point, they do have 2 mana floating, so I'm unlikely to be able to daze a removal spell or anything like that. They could... I'm trying to think of what else they could do here. There's the Plow. I think we're just deterministically dead. I'm going to see what happens, though. They don't know what this card is in my hand, but they can probably presume it's not like a Surgical Extraction or anything that's good against them. The good news is I do have a lot of Fairy Macabres in my sideboard that I can bring in. They now have Dread Return creatures. The fact that they have this floating mana is just such a nuisance, because it means that we're not likely to be able to interact at all. Okay, let's take a look at their graveyard here, since they seem to be done. They're going to get their whole pile in the yard. There's the Thassa's Oracle. There's the Memory's Journey, which they don't have green mana to flashback. let's concede. It's unfortunate that they had exactly enough mana to undermine my days, but hopefully the next one will be on the play. Maybe we can be more aggressive. Their combo is certainly faster than ours. And I think objectively, like assuming Nadu stays legal, you should definitely play their deck instead of this deck if you want like a creature combo deck. However, if Nadu gets banned for some reason, then this I think will be better in some respects. But I will say that this is a lot more fun. I've played so much Nadu Breakfast. I have like not that much interest in playing it anymore. It's not as fun. I want to play some new decks, and this is certainly a new deck. So Prismatic Ending is nice because it hits a lot of things. Soul Guide is definitely going to be better here than our Lava Spur Boots. And then we could bring in one or more Fairy Macabras. They don't generally go for their graveyard like strategy here. But a single Soul Guide sitting on the table invalidates their graveyard strategy. I think we can... we could take out... we can take out an island. That's how I'm going to generally be boarding. Because they're not going to be interacting with our mana at all. Then the other cards we can take out. Doorkeeper Thrall is really good against them. I think Spell Pierce is reasonable. Days on the play is something we can do to interact. I think we could probably take out a Dreadnought. This is something that Jorge was doing a lot of yesterday. When I was playing with him, he was often like, let's take out a Dreadnought and take out a Stifle. I don't know about taking out Stifles because they do have a lot of triggers that we might be able to hit. We might be able to hit it does make it harder to kill them quickly. I think we could take out a Curie. And then we have one more card to take out. Maybe it is a Spell Pierce. I mean, they're mainly creature focused. So I'm going to submit like this. All right. So what I'm going to do on the play is a little bit different than what I'm going to do on the draw. We do have the Curie combo here. I think what we do is we play it a little bit slower here. And we probably open Tundra. Then we have the ability to potentially stifle a fetch if that's their opening mana source. Slow them down a little bit. Then next turn we can Urza Saga. Maybe we just play really slow and then we put the Curie out after we have a more mana, because I think most likely they boarded out their dazes. Okay, that's fine. I am going to go ahead and get this Saga cooking. Now we have Stifle with Daze Protection mana. Yep, that is good. Hopefully this is impactful. They have lots of lands in their hand. All right. Definitely scary to deploy Curie when they could just have Plow. I'd love to find something to interact. I'm definitely tempted to go ahead and Brainstorm this away. Yeah, if they just untap and Plow my Curie, I'm going to be very sad. But I do think it's the correct play to go ahead and play this out. I should have actually played out the Tundra instead of the Polluted Delta. That way I would have the ability to still shuffle away one of the bad cards. We don't really have any bad cards. But next turn I can shuffle away the actual Tundra because I don't really need it. I think it's likely that this is a Plow. Oh, okay, that's good. So they won't have the mana to be able to combo us immediately. Wow, that's the second time they've done that. That's really good for them. Like, that's improbable. 3 hits in 49 cards. I guess it was 3 hits in 50 cards. All right. They can hold back. Oh, they're not going to hold back. They're just going to attack in and let me get a card. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and see what I draw. Then I'm going to Brainstorm with the search trigger on the stack. Okay, now I definitely don't want, given what I have on the table in front of me, I want to find a force really badly. Doorkeeper Thrall is not terrible, because if they Plow in response to the thing, then I can still get a thing. So I'm going to put this back. I don't really want either of these lands. No, I'm going to put back the Brainstorm. And my reasoning is this gives me the ability to... Okay. I'm going to go ahead and float. I think I need to go ahead and Doorkeeper here. I think that's the play. And they may daze it. And if they do, then I'll just grab the Soul Guide Lantern and prevent them from being able to graveyard me. They are consigning that trigger, which is fine. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I am going to be able to go get a land here. It's going to be a Tundra. I think we go ahead and use the mana here to cultivate a Doorkeeper Thrall. Do we do it? Maybe we just float. We don't. Because I like having the plow up. If I play this out, then I still have plow up. I'm going to play that out. And now I'm going to go ahead and Doorkeeper. So I can go fetch plow. And I still have several points of interaction here. I'm going to attack and draw a card. Okay, we get a card. Prismatic Ending is nice. Yeah, I think we just pass. I think it was a big mistake for them to attack with Narcomoeba, but maybe they have some strategy that involves like leaving that body in play. There's the Brainstorm, which is fine. Looking at 8 cards over there. So my hope is that they use all their mana fighting my plow, and then I'm able to Prismatic End the Nomad or something like that. This can always go get a red source, and then we have 3 colors for Prismatic Ending on Nadu, which is not great. Again, closing the barn door after the horses have gotten out, but we can try. Okay. And they know I play Days. Well, they should probably presume I'm playing Days. Nothing I can really do about that. I'll let that happen. They're not attacking, so we can attack. Let's draw Wild. Another Curie is great. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking. Can't think of any reason not to. So this does restrict our options a little bit, but I like having this on the board because then they can't really be passive. Like we are applying some degree of pressure and we are threatening Nadu, or threatening the Phyrexian Dreadnought. I mean, we were already kind of threatening it with Doorkeeper, but now we can play it. It doesn't die, and then we can potentially exile it whenever they attempt to exile it. They'll have to get rid of Curie before they can get rid of the actual Dreadnought. Okay, they're opting to hold back, which is fine. Okay, Tamiyo's great. I mean, we do have Tamiyo plus flip. The main thing I'm worried about is I think they most likely have the combo in hand, or they're going to have part of it anyway. I think I'm going to go ahead and attack with both of these. Let's see. They can double block this, but it won't kill it. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I've got plow up if they have like some weird shenanigans. I can't think of what they would do here other than just chump. Yeah. That prevents me from drawing. So one option is to Tamiyo and then flip Tamiyo, then plus, but then they're likely to attack in and kill Tamiyo. The other option, if we can find a Phyrexian Dreadnought, we can play it. I think I do want to get rid of Tamiyo. Maybe she's not that great at this point. Stifle seems good. We can stifle the search trigger. I don't mind having extra mana. I think this Prismatic Ending is not necessary here. And I think the Tamiyo doesn't need to be here either. So I'm going to put this back. Now I'm going to play this out. I'm going to pass. Worst case scenario, we do have the ability to... I think that's the Stifle because their mana is about to go away. Yeah, I'm going to Stifle that and constrict their mana. And they can get the combo going with Nadu if they want to. But I can plow Nadu and they'll only get 2 triggers. Well, actually, they'll get a trigger from that construct, won't they? Man, if they have Nadu, it's such a pain. Yeah, I think they likely have Nadu. But they are only going to be able to get the 2 triggers, like I said. They're opting instead to go ahead and get the Shugo here. And it looks like they're going to try to go to Shugo Beatdown, which is fine. If they hold one back, I have plow, and I can just plow the one that is, yeah, that's fine. Not going to block here. I am going to go get my Valk, and I'm going to try to put this Doorkeeper Thrall in. There's the Nomad. that's fine currently. Next turn, that could be a problem. So now, yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to go get the Volk, and I'm going to put a second Doorkeeper in, just as an extra layer of insulation. And if they daze, it's not a big deal. This is a great draw. We could basically get rid of both of these. I think what I do is I go ahead and end. The thing is, as long as this is around, yeah, I think I want to get rid of both of these this turn cycle. Nadu, if we don't get rid of the Shuko, then, man, I really want to connect with the Curie somehow. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get greedy. End here. Okay, and then I can plow here. And then I can connect, draw a card. And if, okay, they pitched the Thassa's Oracle, so they're not going to be able to win off that anymore, which means that this Fairy Macabre is not going to do anything this game, I don't think. I do think we go ahead and we attack with both of these. I mean, they can attack. I think we probably lost, though. I'm not sure exactly where things went wrong. Maybe if I had kept the Tamiyo, it would be attacking right now, and we would be in an okay state. But we're actually going to take 7 next turn, most likely, maybe more. And they also have Nadu. I never thought about this, but Curie might be able to exile a construct. I've never tried doing that. Okay, here's 7 damage. We're getting closer to death. They are probably going to Nadu here. Otherwise, I can't think of why they would do this way. There's the Nomad. Okay, and here's the Nadu. And, oh, okay. But it's worth noting that this blocks indefinitely. Okay, I think we're in chump mode, frankly. I don't think this strand is good. I'd rather brainstorm it back. We can attack in, and they just redirect the damage. It doesn't do anything. I'd rather have it back to at least stop the Nomad from attacking. Yeah, this is really bad. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and block the bigger of the two. Now that they've put Thassa's Oracle out, like these don't really matter other than for us getting Dreadnoughts into play. We could still draw a Dreadnought. We got a ton of mana. Removal, please. Ponder is good. I'll just ponder off this. If I can find a removal spell, I can attack in. These are not good enough. I mean, Brainstorm technically does free us a little bit. Let's see, we're going to brainstorm. We're going to draw 2. We're going to put back that. I think that's fine. I'm going to do it. Actually, I can, yeah, I can't shuffle things away. If I shuffle away now, we're going to be looking at fresh cards. Maybe we need to do that since we're so under the gun. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's go get an island. I think that's the only lands in our deck are islands now that we can fetch. A single island. Now let's brainstorm. We're going to be able to put back 1 card, so we get to keep 2. Okay, these are good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put back Fairy Macabre and Ponder. Now I'm going to go ahead and plow this. Oh no, I could have just attacked for freaking lethal. Like I'm so used to not playing as a combo player and being on the defensive, but I could have just killed them basically with Curie and Doorkeeper. I missed lethal. That's so bad. Yeah, I'm going to play this out. Is their last card Hardcast Force? Yeah, let's draw a card. If they can remove either of these, we're dead. What are we drawing? We're drawing a Ponder, I believe. So that gives me a shuffle at least. Maybe I can find a daze off this. I'm going to use the mana now. I'm going to shuffle these. Land we probably won't be able to crack. Okay. So if they have like literally any pressure, we're dead. Yeah, man, I feel so dumb for missing lethal with the Curie. This is definitely a hard deck to play. But I just play out the Dreadnought, and then I I mean, they could have like a plow, and that would be a blowout, obviously. But if they find Prismatic Ending, then they can kill us. If they don't find Prismatic Ending, then we'll survive. It's worth noting that this shuts off literally nothing in their deck except for the card that they have in exile, Thassa's Oracle. If they just find Nadu, they can probably just win. even with us being able to do everything, because they'll have 6 Nadu triggers at least. And they're going to know exactly what is going to happen since they can dictate this turn. They kept the card. Okay, so we're going to gain 12 life. That's not going to do a lot, though. We're drawing wild. I'm just going to take this damage. They're keeping their blocker back. It's unlikely that I find a Pawner, but maybe. Okay, we didn't find anything useful. I'm just going to hold. I'm not dead this turn. It makes sense to go ahead and attack with the Doorkeeper because I'm not going to chump. If they found a second Shuko, would we be dead? I think I'm just going to keep Doorkeeper back. I don't think hitting for 1 damage matters. Yeah, man. We could be in game 3 right now if I had just seen that line with Curie. We're going to take it. More land. That's what we want to see. That's unfortunate. We're not completely dead, but we're likely dead. It's worth noting that these don't even fetch anything. We don't have any fetches left in our deck. Fetchables left in our deck. Okay, they're being very conservative. They're going to give us a card. Okay, so I am going to block here. And I'm going to be able to attack in, assuming that they don't have a creature that they can play here. Okay, so we are going to get to draw a card, hopefully. I'm going to go ahead and attack. I don't have anything better to do. And then, what could I draw that could get me out of this? I don't think there's really anything. Maybe a Brainstorm could get us a little bit closer to that. There's the Plow. Good games. All right, let's go to round 2, and I'm just going to be more heads up as far as like identifying opportunities to do the combo. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. I have a very clean fetch to get an island and just play on a basic island. They're on a basic island as well. This could mean that they have Stifle. That's better. I like that this gives me the option of stifling something. And also, if I play this out, like I don't even care. This doesn't affect anything on my deck right now. It's just an island. It's an island that can be wastelanded, but it is an island that I don't have to fetch with. And it's quite possible that they just are going to cycle troll or something like that. But this like introduces a lot of question. Like they're probably very confused about what I'm playing. They probably would never guess that I'm playing what I'm playing. I do think that I'm going to stifle this. I'm going to keep my lands around. If they daze, it's not the end of the world. They give up a lot of momentum. If they daze. If they spell pierce, that would be irritating. Forcing. Thassa's Oracle. Okay, so most likely they're doing what plays Thassa's Oracle and also plays Wasteland. Interesting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go for the island. See if they stifle here. They could be playing that. They are stifling it, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to pass. I did want to go ahead and get a Tamiyo on the table. We have 20 land in this deck, so it is likely that we will draw more land. We've seen 2 land in 9 cards, which is about what we'd expect. Okay, interesting. So like some sort of fairy deck. So I do believe this is like some sort of Wizards deck. Yeah, this is almost certainly Wizards. So Wizards, what it does is it's got this Patron Wizard, and he taps and basically prevents you from being able to cast spells. You can just kind of like daze your opponent repeatedly. But it's a mono blue deck, so our Wasteland shouldn't find a home. But we shouldn't be wasting anyway on the draw after having lost 2 lands. Main phase Brainstorm? No. Ingenious Prodigy. Skulk. Ingenious Prodigy enters with X1/1 counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Ingenious Prodigy has 1 or 1, you may remove a +1 counter. If you do, you may draw a card. Okay, so currently it's just a 1/1 wizard basically with Skulk, or an 0/1 wizard. It's pretty weak. They're going to attack for 1. They don't seem to have more mana, which is interesting. Because they would definitely make this bigger if they had more mana. They wouldn't be sandbagging it. Let's see if we get a land. We don't. We're just going to pass. We have Forcible with Daze Protection. We're going to try to force their Patron Wizard or something like on that level. Or if they just... We definitely don't want to have to go to discard. I'm glad I get to highlight this deck because this is a deck that I played against when I was in Japan. Don't know that I've ever played against it on MTGO before, but it's a cool deck. That's fine. They are going to be able to like find a land potentially here. That's what they're looking for, I would imagine. And if they ever resolve Patron Wizard, we're just completely screwed because we're never going to be able to cast a spell again. Every turn they can just tap their creatures and they can counter your stuff. Okay, they kept 2 cards on top. Interesting. So I bet you one of those is a land. They don't get access to it yet. All right. This is getting pretty unfortunate. I think I'm going to pitch a redundant Tamiyo. Assuming they don't cast anything in our end step, which they shouldn't. Yeah. I don't think they have any removal in their deck, so I think Curie's totally fine, like as a one-of. They could counter it. They probably think we're on some sort of like blue-red Delver based on the lands we showed them. Oh no. This means that we're not going to be able to stop the actual Patron Wizard when it comes out. I may actually waste this depending on what we draw here. So they can use that to draw a card. It's fine. I definitely want to see what I'm going to draw before I waste that, but that is a high profile or like a high importance waste target. We're taking 2. All right, let's see if we can find a land finally, please. All right, that is a land. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to go ahead and waste here. I just don't want them to be able to play Patron Wizard because, again, it shuts down our entire deck. They may have a wasteland of their own for this that they've just been holding. But I'm going to go get Basic Island. I mean, my deck's almost completely blue. There's only a few white spells in the deck. None that I really care to cast here. All right, we're taking 2. They've got 4 cards in hand. No plays. Can we get another land, please? No. This land is going to disappear next turn. This is really unfortunate. I think we discard probably a Plow because I'm just not going to be able to go get it. I'm not going to be able to go get white source. I'm going to have to get a blue source out of respect for their potential subsequent wastelands. They're not even attacking. Okay. I'm not sure what their game is if they're not even attacking here. Please draw land. No. Okay, well, I'm going to float. I'm going to go get the Lava Spur Boots and further confuse them about what deck we're playing. And we're going to pass. I'm going to play it out, though, because, I mean, if I just get run around lands, their clock is so slow, and they only have 1 land themselves. It's possible. I'll just discard another Tamiyo. Again, like, just trying to conceal information. We're probably like 5% to win this game. That's fine. I'm not going to force Fairy Seers. It does speed up their clock. It does give them Surveil, but it just doesn't feel right. And it's not a Surveil, it's a Scry, which is slightly different. They attack for 2, and we remain in the waiting room. Land, please. I'm going to concede. I don't want to discard even more cards. Like, I don't think we're likely to win. And this is really, really unfun, dying in such a sad manner. We could bring in the Plains and take out one of our Urza Sagas. Just as, like, it is a little bit more flexible. I think Prismatic Ending is pretty good against their very creature heavy deck. I think we can take out Force. I don't think it's just that great against them. I don't want to get into Force fights if I can avoid it. Daze fights, sure. Force fights, not so much. Oh, actually, you know what? Instead of taking out Urza Saga, I think I'm going to take out Wasteland. I don't think Wasteland affects them at all. I guess it goes after Cavern, but like, yeah, maybe we need to keep it for Cavern. I mean, there is certainly the option of just playing 21 land, which I think is totally valid. I think I'm going to do that. Because they're dazing us, they're stifling us, they're wasting us. Just having an extra land, nothing wrong with that. We are a very mana-hungry deck. All right, 3 lands and a Stifle. I think we keep this. Also, our hand is pretty slow, so what I think we do is we start with a Surveil land, and then we just start with floating these out there and maybe getting them to hold up Stifle. That would be the dream. But we're going to basically try to get all these lands onto the playing field before we attempt to cast anything. Yeah. think that's fine. I'll go to my turn before I decide whether to fetch, but I don't think that I want to... Did they even play any fetches? I don't think they played any fetches last game. So it might be totally fine to just go island and then go get a plains as well. But I think it's highly likely that they have a daze. Discard both of those to the bottom. I think I am going to just go get a basic here, and I'm going to try to put some redundant cards back. Like I said, I don't think they have removal, so I think we could potentially shuffle away a Curie. We could also shuffle away this and find a fetch land. If we find a prismatic ending, then we can just cleanly answer this, which, granted, it had an ETB trigger. It's not the worst. Okay, this is quite good. So we now have Stifle and Spell Pierce. I don't think Spell Pierce is great. It's defensive. I think since they're likely not playing removal, we could put one of these back. I don't really want to put the land back. We could put the Stifle itself back. I think that's totally fine. And I'm just going to go ahead and immediately go get the plains, just so I don't need to worry about it. The other option, of course, is that we get the island, and then we have Spell Pierce and Daze Up. I think it's better to just get the plains since this can get plains. And I am playing around their Stifle pretty intentionally. They're giving a long pause on this. They may have stepped away from the computer. I don't know what there is to think about here. All right, so we shuffled away some mediocre cards. Next turn, we'll be able to Curie with Daze Protection mana up, unless they present something that we ourselves need to daze. Okay. Attacking. Okay, this is good. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and I'm just going to blue, white, Curie. And then assuming that they don't waste us, next turn we do have the ability Spellstutter Sprite. Well, I'm going to daze. Yeah, that's a cool card. I haven't seen that in a while. It didn't even occur to me that they might have a non-creature way that they could interact here. They force for some reason. We do have Spell Pierce. But then they could daze that. Okay, our Curie's in. Yeah, that card is pretty scary to play with because if they remove this, then suddenly this trigger doesn't do anything. I am worried that they may have like some bounce spell. If they tap out for some reason, then I'll feel a lot more comfortable. They're attacking. So they're basically opening us up to be able to hit them, but they likely have a flash threat. Okay. So we have two options. One, we can just attack, potentially interact with whatever they're going to play here. Draw a card. I like that. I want to get more mana just in case I need to play the Dread and use the ability. This is a Dismember. It looks like it. I think that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a second one of these. But they could have a second Spell Stutter. They could also have Daze. If I hit this with Prismatic Ending first, then I don't need to worry about Spell Stutter, but I do need to worry about Daze. My thinking now is just wait till the end step and then put Doorkeeper on if they do something. Yeah, this keeps up the most optionality. Yeah, there's definitely an argument to just end that, and maybe that's what I should have done. Then what I could have done is responded to them Spell Stuttering with Doorkeeper, which would stop the trigger. But that would be dazeable. You know what? I think I'm just going to chill. They're applying zero pressure. I just want more land. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to Tamiyo here. And then I can Doorkeeper Thrall if they attempt to Spell Stutter it. And if they daze this, then we're completely blown out. All right. That worked out well. So they likely don't have daze. Paradigm Shift. Exile cards from your library, then shuffle your graveyard into your library. Okay. So unfortunately, this means we're probably dead. My reasoning is they've got like 2 cards in their library, and they've got, what's it called? But Thassa's Oracle actually doesn't win because of Doorkeeper Thrall. So they have to remove that somehow. So I think if I hold up Spell Pierce, I may be able to stop it. I think the best course of action is probably to play off Phyrexian Dreadnought so we can just be aggro. Okay, so another option is we end this, and then they have 2 cards in their deck. They would still potentially have enough devotion to blue. Let's think about this. They have to kill this somehow. They're going to have Dismember coming through. They've got 16 life. So they could draw Dismember this turn or next turn. And then the other card that they shuffled in was, I'm not sure what it was. I'm a bad player. I didn't look. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to go ahead and play the Dreadnought first. Next turn we can attack. They have a second Dismember. Sadly, we're going to have to stop this one. And then it's just a question of the sequence in which they draw their subsequent ones. So I think we're just straight up dead if they get the Dismember off the top of their deck. I don't think there's a lot. Well, we can ensure that they die from one attack by just hitting their Fairy Seer now. And then we can attack in and maybe they block. We're not worried about combat damage now. We're just worried about the sequence in which they draw the Dismember. If they draw it first, then we're dead. If they draw it second, then we're okay. I can't remember what the other card in the pile was, though. I just didn't look. Okay, wow. I think we win now. Okay, we did it. That was tough, and it came down to literally like the sequence of draws. Like if they drew their second Dismember, they could have killed this and then probably... stopped us with the Thassa's Oracle. Okay, so based on what we just saw there, Soul Guide, not good. Do we want to bring the forces back in? I mean, Consigned to Memory stops the Thassa's Oracle trigger, which is likely how they're going to win. It does stop other triggers. Like, I feel like these can come in. The fact that it can be reproduced. I feel like Prismatic Ending is not the best. And I feel like Daze is really not the best on the draw. Yeah, I think I'm going to go down a Prismatic and I'm going to bring in the Consigns. There's definitely a strong temptation to bring the Force back in. But I think with Consign and them not being able to do anything to stop us from casting it with like Replicate, I think we can reliably win. It's just a question of whether we have enough mana, and we have maxed out our mana for this purpose. Doorkeeper Thrall pulled a lot of weight that game. Plenty of time for game 3. This is an easy mulligan based on the lack of colored mana. This is not a great keep by any means. I think this is not a keep. This is what I'm talking about. So I think we keep the Wasteland. I think we put back Plow. It's probably not that important. And maybe we put back... We could put back the Fetch. It doesn't really do anything here. I mean, if we draw like a White Source later, my plan is to basically just get Curie into play somehow. I like Wasteland for potentially, slowing them down a little bit. And our own mana base can't be stifled, which is nice. Okay, that's not a good draw. My hope is that I can like actually get them to hold up mana by floating this in play, thinking that they can stifle it if they're off to a slow start. And stifling it is not of consequence to me personally. They could be playing Tide Shaper. Tisha's Tidebinder, what is it called? Yeah. It's like a stifle on a creature. That I believe that is a wizard. So it would jive with the thematic nature of their deck. They've seen Spell Pierce, they've seen Daze. I'm just gonna go like that. And we're just gonna keep doing the stifle dance here. If they hit with Patron Wizard, that's gonna be a huge problem. I'm not even sure if it's in their deck. They could just be pure Parallax, whatever it's called. Interesting. They're not doing anything. I think this favors us. Them not doing anything when we have Consigned to Memory in hand. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. We've taken basically all the soft permission out of our deck, I believe. They can have a lot of force of wills in their hand, but they aren't going to be able to stop consign. They could stifle the replicate trigger though. So that's probably like the scariest thing, but I'm going to try to test their stifle in a turn or two. I'm going to fetch. That's fine. They kept one. It's also worth noting that they stopped playing out lands. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play this out now. And we could potentially stifle if they attempt to do the thing. The thing being the Spell Stutter Sprite. Which will be irritating, by the way. I mean, maybe that was a reason for us to go ahead and waste them and force them to tap out. I think that was the play. Okay. We made our land drop. We can't do anything. All we can do is hope that this will be able to profitably connect. I wouldn't be surprised if they waste us during this turn cycle. There we go. That's fine. Okay, wow. Please don't do anything else. Just let me start connecting with Curie. That'd be great. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. I'm going to attack. They might stifle the draw trigger if they've got nothing else going on. 7 cards in hand. They're not blocking. This is good for us. We draw. Another stifle. Yeah, we've got a lot of stifle abilities. I think we chill. Yeah, I like having Brainstorm up and just the ability to do a lot of stuff. Wizard cycling. I think this could be a stifle. It's a 1-for-1. Because this can go get Thassa's Oracle. It can get practically every card in their deck. All right, cool. So that was a 1-mana spell for a 2-mana spell, effectively. They may have had like some Baron type spell that could have come in and like stopped us. Here's Patron Wizard. That's a pain in the ass. He's a 2/2 as well. This is an opportunity for me to brainstorm, and then I can just pay for it. And if they try to tax, that's okay because it's end step. I want to get this brainstorm out of my hand for sure. Okay, these cards are terrible, but I think actually we do want to just keep drawing Wastelands, sadly. We want to keep these because we're going to need to overpower Patron Wizard. I don't think Spell Pierce is where we want to be. I want to keep these stack-based interaction up. Every single wizard they play, we have to have a land for it until we can find a removal spell. Stifle is definitely not as important as Consign. It is more flexible. I think I'm going to put Stifle back, and now I'm going to fetch. I'll go to my upkeep and fetch. Okay, now we draw Wild. Stifle. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to Ponder here. We've got Dreadnought. They can stop us from being able to use Dreadnought this turn, but next turn they can't necessarily unless they have another wizard. I do think we need to hit that cavern. Do we need to hit the cavern? We don't actually have any way to interact. Let's think about this. They could double spell. Okay, so let's say hypothetically we get Doorkeeper Thrall. We can go ahead and play it. Then we don't need to worry about dying. That's nice. And then we have Dreadnought the following turn, and then we can just Curie the subsequent turn. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I can do this during their upkeep, which will deny them the ability to make some of the card selection, but they may have, what's it called? I think I want to do this while they're tapped out. So this does stop their win con, but they can definitely just dig for long enough to find an answer to it. They may be doing this and then planning the days, which would make sense. But if they do that, then I am going to connect with Curie and get to draw a card. I think we just have to accept this. Yeah, actually, I did that in the wrong order, so now this mana is just floating, and I can't do anything with it. Yeah, that was... Yeah, there's nothing we can do here. I'm not going to be able to attack. I'm just going to pass. Yeah, had I not tapped the Wasteland there, then I could have just gone after that. But I think I might need the mana. We'll see how many wizards they play out this turn. If they play out like 3 wizards, that's probably just game. So we're drawing Dreadnought, and then we're drawing... There's one wizard. Yeah, and if they attack or do anything here, Like they should just hang back and not do anything basically and keep casting wizards. They can surveil and they can, or scry, and they can find another wizard. They topped both. Okay. Please attack me. Don't you want to attack? No, you're just going to sit back. I think we go ahead and hit their land. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. If we don't. So we do have enough if they tap all their lands. But they could have like a daze or something like that in hand. I think I'm going to go for it. I don't think this game gets any better if we don't go for it. Worst case scenario, like this is countered. We spend an entire turn cycle, and then I can attack in and draw a card at least. The card I'll draw is Ponder. This doesn't get better for us, I don't think, though. I should have tapped a Wasteland, by the way, when I did that. This is where they could definitely dismember if they're on the up and up. There's nothing I can do to stop a dismember. They know that Force... actually, Force is the one thing I could have in my hand that could save me here. If they have like a Brazen Borrower, there are a lot of things they could have. Here comes the Borrower. What are they doing? They're going to stifle the draw trigger and just take 12. That's fine with me too. Okay, that's good. Trying to figure out what I need to discard here. There's no point in playing anything. They can just counter it. I think we just pass with the mana up. So cards that we're discarding. I don't think Tamiyo is that important. Unfortunately, we didn't draw a single Force, but that's because we don't have a single Force in our deck. I never expected to get this far. I'm going to discard one land. I'm not going to discard this land. I can undo that. I'm going to discard this land. No, I think we keep lands just in case. I'll discard 1, 2 Tamiyos. We've got 3 Tamiyos in hand. It's so hard to decide what to discard. Boots is actually maybe irrelevant. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think we can put back like that. I want to keep the Plow. I think we could discard a Stifle at this point. Consign's more important. No, we only have... Well, we have 2 Consigns. Consign can potentially win us the game. I'll discard another Brainstorm. Is that enough? How many cards do you want from me, MTGO? Let's discard... I think we can discard the Boots. And I still have to discard one more. I'll discard a Ponder. What? Even more? Maybe another Ponder. Just get completely rid of these cantrips. Yeah, I like this hand a lot. If we just plow Patron Wizard, we're in a pretty good place. There's Baron. We can't stop this. I don't think there's a point in attempting to stop this. They can stop every single one of our replicate triggers. So we just have to let this happen. Okay. So my top priority here is I'm going to just try to plow the Patron Wizard. If that goes through, then we'll have a lot of leeway for what to do after that. Also, it's worth noting that I can just kind of win through Urza Saga, if nothing else. Another consign. Play that. I'm going to start with a plow on Patron Wizard. This would be a force if they ever are going to force. This would be the one. Okay, they conceded. Wow, we got that. I'm not sure why they let that resolve. I don't know what's in their hand, but if they had any option, they should have countered the actual Dreadnought. I don't think I've ever won a game where Patron Wizard has stuck on the table before. So that feels like a pretty good accomplishment, an achievement to be on my Xbox Live account. See you in round 3. Round 3, we're 1-1. We're up against a known Storm gamer with a pretty decent anti-Storm hand. I think we keep this. We're on the play, which is nice. I think I'm just going to float the Misty out there. We don't actually have a Plains in our main deck, so it doesn't really matter the fetch order. They're mulliganing to 6. We like to see it. 5. Okay. So I'll just float and I'll pass. And again, like I'm not the kind of person that waits around to stifle Tendrils of Agony. I stifle fetches. All right, this is a black-green. This might be like Chain of Smog type. They're proactively veiling. This could absolutely be a trap. I think it's a mistake to interact. I'm going to let it happen. They have 3 cards in hand. What could they have? Spoils of the Vault. Okay. What could they get that could win from here with 2 cards in hand and no mana floating? Lines Eye Diamond. Okay. They're going to wheel us. You cheeky. What's a British word? I'm not going to say anything that might actually get me in trouble with like British people. But I always think of the word cheeky as like a British thing. Okay. How crazy are we going to go here? They're passing the turn. I mean, we have a little bit of optionality here. One thing we can do is I would be very surprised if these plows are useful. Putting the Dreadnought combo on the stack, which we can't currently do, I don't think it's good enough. I mean, my instinct is to just chill and not play a Tamiyo because we have double brainstorm. But I think playing a Tamiyo is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll get a land out of my deck. It's very possible that it just gets shuffled back in. If we flip her, we have the ability to buy back a brainstorm next turn. We don't have any mana up. We do have, yeah, I think it's fine to flip her. Just going to get a red to confuse them. I don't think they're likely to waste us. Can we find a daze? Can we find a waste? How about nothing? We're totally cold. I'll put these back just in case they like thought seize me. I don't want them to know that that's it. Well, they'll know that that's what's up. Yeah, I don't think we have a lot going on here. Oh, I think we're probably dead. Yeah, that was not kind to us. And unfortunately, like double daze when you only have 1 land doesn't matter. They would have just cracked the pedal. It might have slowed them down, but they would have gotten a card if we'd dazed and they paid for it. They would have got an extra draw. The card I would miss the most would probably be Doorkeeper Thrall, just because it's more immediate source of win. So I'm going to put that back, and we're going to flip her, we're going to plus her, and we're going to pass. And we're going to see if they can go off or if they mulligan themselves into an unworkable hand. Spoils of the Vault can potentially kill them. It is a very high risk, high reward card. So far, they have exiled 1 Echo and a Song of Creation. So if they just start Dark Ritualing, they may be able to kill us right now. I'm planning to probably buy back the Brainstorm, but if they don't do anything, I might actually go upstairs because I'll finish my thought because if this installed out board state, I don't think it's correct to go upstairs. Like there's no way that we're going to actually draw off of Tamiyo because we could definitely kill really quickly with Curie. I think Curie next turn is probably totally reasonable, and then we leave up a land. Because drawing 12 is practically Tamiyo ultimating, and it also does 12 damage, and that may shut off a lot of their lines. I will say that I'm very happy so far this league that we haven't faced Frog. Frog is still legal maybe for a few hours. Vexing Bauble is still legal for a few hours. We did face Nadu, and I won't comment on Nadu, but a lot of people are saying it should be banned, and I'm not saying that those people are wrong. Entomb, okay. Is this another wheel? You're going to wheel us again? At least I, flip Tamiyo. My hand does nothing, so I'm totally fine with them wheeling us. They put the LED in the yard? Interesting. I guess I don't understand the reasoning behind that. Beseech? Okay. Guys, will? Yeah. Is this a deterministic line? They can't play a land. They already play a land this turn, right? So LED comes in. They can LED for black. They can dark red. Oh, maybe it is deterministic. Because they can entomb again. The entomb, whatever they entomb just gets exiled, but they have mana to burn off. That'll get them to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more storm, which is lethal. I'm going to make them see the line, though. But just with the information in front of me, I can tell they can have a deterministic win this turn. Assuming no interaction from us, which we haven't interacted yet, we probably would have, forced the Beseech. They are passing the turn. That doesn't make any sense. Am I missing something? Okay. Well, I think we actually start off with a brainstorm. if I can find like a force, might be good. I just don't understand why they did what they did. I guess they didn't want to get rid of their hand. Maybe they just beseech and guys will so they get a Lion's Eye Demon. That seems very convoluted and unlikely. Okay, we draw more of the same. Yeah, this is not like super good. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot we can do here. We can just put back some of the redundant pieces in our hand, play out a land. I don't think I'm missing something here. I think that we just instep Doorkeeper Throw. Curie is actually a lot faster. Let's play Curie. I mean, that is very transparent that we don't have any interaction if we're playing her. But our opponent should already kind of guess that we don't have any interaction. I'm going to plus her because I think it's more likely that we get another turn than that Brainstorm is relevant in our hand. We can always get it back next turn. We're not going to be able to cast it this turn. And we could have actually, maybe the correct line was Brainstorm, fetch, shuffle those away, Brainstorm again, trying to find interaction. That's the line I could get behind. But we do have just do 12 damage, draw 12 cards next turn. And it looks like they're doing some damage to themselves. So if they don't win now, they've already used... Okay, Veil. They just got it? Like, just ripped it? Okay. Okay, we are wheeling again. This is fine. We don't have the Dreadnought anymore, so it's not a lock anymore. They've never cultivated much in the way of mana. I imagine they have a land drop somewhere. May not matter. We might just be dead. Are they going to echo us again? Okay with me. This is the best hand we've seen. It's the Dreadnought for the combo. It is double interaction when they're low on mana. We're probably dead, surely. Dark Rit. Okay, and here's the tendrils, right? There's the Beseech. Now the tendrils. Okay, that was... Again, I don't think it was necessary for them to take that long. We have pretty good sideboard tech against this. I didn't see any creatures. They could have some juke into creatures, but I think it's fine. Like, our creatures are so beefy that it doesn't really matter. We can overpower whatever the heck they're going to try to do. So I'm going to go creatureless here. And we're going to bring in Consigns. And I think that's probably it. Like, we didn't see blue. Prismatic is not terrible. It's better than Plow. So I'm going to probably bring that in. This Soul God Lantern could be relevant for sure. It's a card draw. It's probably better than Lava Spur Boots. Because if we're going to win, we're not going to win by racing. We're going to win by dealing a ton of damage really quick. Or not by dealing damage quickly, but by just having damage on the board and stabilizing the game is what I mean. Doorkeeper Thrill doesn't do a ton. They are, like, Stifle's very live. They're not going to be playing any anti-land stuff, so we can take out a land. Maybe do we want to take out a Saga instead, just to ensure we have blue sources? I think that's reasonable. Because we are playing 3 Saga, which is one more than Jorge recommends. I think Doorkeeper Thrall has, like... Well, are there any artifacts? Oh yeah, this is good against Chrome Mox. I think I'll take out a Dreadnought and a Curie. No, I'll leave the Curies and I'll take out a Prismatic Ending. Yeah, because Curie's blue. She pitches the Force. All right. This is a Force of Will hand with the Tamiyo. The Phyrexian Dreadnoughts don't do anything, but I think this is a keep just on the strength of Tamiyo coming down and, like, forcing her agenda. We can ponder for a land next turn if we still have a force up. This is not a great hand, but I'm keeping it. Our opponent won on a mold to 5 last game, which is pretty good. They do have, I would imagine, 4 Veil of Summers that we need to look out for. This may not have been a keep. It may actually be better to go ahead and Valk to dig for a second interaction spell, like a Daze, rather than digging for, or rather than trying to get Tamiyo out. Flip Tamiyo doesn't really do much. Tamiyo's not that great in this matchup. It's only great if the game stalls out and then we're already favored. I'm going to go ahead and do this ponder. They're not going to have soft permission. Just a blue card to pitch the force would be okay. But I really want someone to get the Stiflenought going because their deck is pretty all in, but it's not like totally all in. Like, I'm not sure how many turns they usually play before they go off. This has blue card for force and land. I'm going to take it. And if they float any permanents out there, we can just prismatic end them away. Like if they're playing like disruptor grid, what is it, defense grid, anything like that. I 100% will put Curie out there rather than Tamiyo because Curie draws a card immediately, and I don't anticipate there being any resistance. LED resolves. Another LED resolves. They're fetching. This is the Veil, and then they've got just the perfect hand probably. This is the force on your Veil. Do you still want to go? Do you want to pitch your entire hand thinking that I might have a second form of interaction? Well, that's bold. Yeah, I think we probably are going to lose. 5 Storm on the account. We got literally nothing that interacts. They've got 3 mana floating. I think we're dead. Here, and I thought this version would be better against combo, but I'm just getting completely owned by this deck. I mean, like, the best case scenario is they wheel us again and we actually find something. They're not presenting Veil of Summer mana. Spoils, please kill yourself with the trigger here. It doesn't always have to just be on top of your deck. It could be like 15 cards down, 19 cards down maybe. It's a weird like, oh, okay, I guess I can see like what they revealed here. They did take some damage there. Elvish Spirit Guide, huh? I guess they had everything they needed except the Elvish Spirit Guide. I guess they probably have a Veil here. That's why they would be going to get the Elvish Spirit Guide. Did they exile any wing cons? The Beseech Tendrils got exiled. I assume they have a second Tendrils. There's a Bowmasters. That's scary. There's the Veil. Sadly, this resolves. 8 Storm. Echo. Okay. So I assume they have another Storm in their deck somewhere. Another Tendrils in their deck somewhere. We drew double Force, but it doesn't matter. We drew Stifle, but it doesn't matter. Stifle would actually be good if they, if for some reason they pass the turn, but I don't think that's likely. Entomb. They're gonna go put the Tendrils in there, and then they're gonna do a bunch of stuff. I would imagine. Like get guys will and then cast the Tendrils. They need a lot of mana to do that. Oh wow. That's huge for us. I did not anticipate that happening. Okay. So I think, so we have Stifle in our hand. We should hold it. We can go and get Saga ticking, and then we have we can kill. Let's see. So we've got double Force here. That's very good. And Stifle. So I'm just going to play this out, and I'm going to pass. And then we can just kill them with the constructs, actually. We only need like a couple constructs and they'll die. That's fine. They're passing again. Okay, at this point, having drawn Consign, I think we just hold up the mana and we just make the world's smallest construct to kill them. I'm not even going to mess with Curie. Curie pitches to Force and leaves us with plenty of interaction in our hand. Wow, this is not what I expected to happen. Go get a Tundra here. And we're going to go boom, create a construct, boom. Okay. No need to make a second construct when this first one will get the job done fine, I believe. Unless they have another Bowmasters, which we can interact with. I'm just going to float here. I'll float. Sorry. I need to go into my main phase, see what I draw. Okay, land for turn. Now I'm going to float. Search trigger. We could get the Phyrexian Dreadnought, but I kind of like just getting this because it gives us the power. We will target their Entomb, I guess. I'm not sure that matters. Now we can hit them for 2. I think it's fine to go ahead and just play out a land here and play Curie. We still have plenty of interaction. This speeds up the clock a little bit. They're going to go down to 2 here. Next turn, they are probably dead. And then we'll get a game 3. I'll be absolutely stunned if they can figure out a way to get through all this. I'm going to let the Entomb resolve. I'm not worried about them attempting to wheel here. If they attempt to wheel, it's going to use a lot of their mana, and we'll just counter. It's also worth noting that I can just freely like exile whatever they put in their graveyard. Yeah, I think that's fine. And if they attempt to Gaia's Will for some reason, I'll just exile their graveyard. That's fine. This is Beseech. Just force this. I'm going to force pitching a Ponder. They have no mana floating. Okay, good. Yeah, we won that with a comfortable margin, but it was on the back of them kind of fizzling. So we can't pat ourselves on the back too hard. The fact that we saw Orcish Bowmasters does give me a little bit of pause. This may be one of those matchups where we just take... I mean, Prismatic Ending would not be bad there. Dreadnought doesn't really do a lot here because... Yeah, maybe we just leave one Dreadnought in the deck and then we can go get it with the Urza Saga. I know that sounds super weird, but like that's just not what this game is about. Like they did so much damage to themselves, we could just kill them with whatever. I think I will put another Urza Saga in just because it does look for the Dreadnought that we just put in there, but it ups our land count. All right, round 3 or game 3 of round 3. This is an easy mulligan. We're on the draw. Backs against the wall. This is terrible. We can't keep this. This is the best of the hands we've seen. However, it sucks. They may not just go all out. They are pretty... I mean, do we want to go to 4? They don't seem to be playing Vexing Bauble, which is one like saving grace. We could keep this. We could put back the Dreadnought and the Soul Guide. We're not doing anything is the problem. I think we go one lower. I'm glad we went lower. I'm going to keep this. We're going to put back Soul Guide. Put back Prismatic Ending. Put back Urza Saga. Now we have a 0 mana turn 0 interaction spell, and we have like Ponder to try to find something better. Okay, they didn't start strong here. They just came out to build. Bowmasters to the yard. Still have 6 cards in hand. I think we ponder for both our second land and hopefully a daze would be nice. Brainstorm is the most obvious thing to pitch to force because it's just more clunky early game. That's a blue card for force. I am still going to cast this though. A second force would also be welcome if we can find that. I think these are great. Consign is a blue card we can pitch to force. We haven't seen any Thoughtseize type effects. I think what we can do is we can play the Wasteland next turn. Then we can just hold up the Consign. There's no point in drawing it. We're not going to pitch Consign. We'll pitch Brainstorm. And then we'll probably waste. And then the subsequent turn, we will do Curie off of that fetch. I don't know how many lands they play in their deck, but hopefully this Wasteland can do something. All right, we've got Motion. Dark Ritual is fine. Lotus Petal is fine. Now they have the ability to Veil our Force, which is unfortunate because they have green mana. Elvish Spirit Guide. Beseech. They have nothing floating. I'm going to force... I mean, Curie does give us a path to rebuilding. I kind of think we keep the Curie. Wow, we stopped it. Okay, next turn, what I'm going to do... I can waste and then hold up Consign, and then we draw the land next turn. I think that's better. Because they didn't play a land this turn. Consign will be aimed at literally anything we can counter. Maybe like a... because we don't have anything else that we can do here. My thinking is we would consign like a Landside Diamond. I don't think it's going to matter, but I guess I'll get the Volk just in case I need to exile something later. No. Yeah, it doesn't matter, I don't think. All right, Curie's out. Curie can kill very quickly if we draw another land and a Phyrexian Dreadnought, but we've only got one in our deck. So really what we're looking for is Urza Saga would be great here, because it would allow us to develop our Curie while Tamiyo is fine. I think I'm going to attack first and see what I draw. Okay, another Strand is fine. I do want to play that out, and I want to play the Tamiyo out as well. And now we have Consign with Replicate. They're passing. This is great. Let's see how far we can pull ahead here. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. We can flip Tamiyo and buy back our force next turn. That seems worth doing. Stifle's another good rip. So I'm going to go ahead and just boom, boom, draw. Tamiyo trigger. Doorkeeper Thrall, not super strong here. Arguably not worth having it in the deck. But we just ran out of cards we could sideboard in. Part of that is just because I brewed this based off of Jorge's list, and I didn't really think that much about. Okay, I think this is a Stifle. I want to deny them land, and I have Consign, which can't hit these, but it can hit other things they might do. Okay, I'm going to rebuy the Force. We actually have Hardcast Force up, which is nice. Let's draw first. I think it's safest to buy back the Force. Currently, they're stuck on mana, and we drew another Stifle. I'm going to play that out just in case we need to do like a mega Consign somehow. All right, every turn that passes, we become more and more favored. Another Doorkeeper Thrall. I probably could have flashed one in just to speed up the clock last turn. I will flash in probably both of these in step if we don't have anything better to do. I will play the land. I mean, we're just going to continue to develop as quickly as we can. That's fine. They're playing that out because they don't want to go to discard, I think. Okay, our opponent seems to be passing the turn, so I'm just going to flash in our little weenie beats. I'm going to fetch down to 17. I probably don't want to go to 16 if I can avoid it, but this speeding up the clock is worth it, in my humble opinion. So now we're hitting for 3 instead of 1 every turn. Okay, I'll attack first just to see what we draw. It's worth noting that this does stop Bowmaster pings, but it doesn't stop the actual Bowmaster ability if they manage to get like... we have double force. I'm just going to plus and pass, and I can buy back a cantrip next turn. Not a huge reason to play this land, but there's not a huge reason not to. Let's see. We do have 2 more lands in the deck. We've got an island, and we've got a... Yeah, I'm going to play it out just in case we need it. It does no good being in our hand. I mean, we could technically... We don't have a brainstorm. So this... I think we don't counter this, because if they want to go all in with this, that's okay with me. Now we're looking to draw like a prismatic ending. I think we could just ultimate here. We'll see what we draw. Spell Pierce, that's a great find too. Yeah, there's no real reason to ultimate here. I think it's better to just go ahead and see if we can ponder into a way to get rid of this. I do like Doorkeeper Thrall. I do like the fact that no, I don't mean to say I like Doorkeeper Thrall. I like the fact that Soul Guide does give us like a direction we can go in, but we kind of get Soul Guide for free if we just Urza Saga. Did we play our land already? Got 8 minutes on the clock, so I'm not in danger of running out of time. I think I just draw this Urza Saga, get it going. Because it's like certain death for them. And 2 turns in case they like somehow figure out a way to cling to life that long. Right, let's pass. So with double Consign in hand, they're going to need a miracle for sure. And I will probably consign that, like if they cast another LED. I think this is a consign because this does turn on their... I'm just going to cast it. I doubt they have a way to interact with this. I could replicate it, but it's fine. Okay, and that seems to be all they're doing this turn. Now we draw the Soul Guide, which we don't care about it being in the deck. I'll play it out. I don't want the other Doorkeeper throw. I am going to go and fetch a little thinner. Let's get another Tundra here. So we don't draw the Doorkeeper throw when we attack. Okay, draw trigger. All right. I think it's fine to go ahead and use this to see what we would draw. We've got so much mana. We've got lots of interaction up. Daze is fine. It's another form of interaction. I actually like taking the Prismatic Ending, though, so we can get rid of the LED. So they're dead next turn. Even if we just make a construct, they're dead next turn. We don't even need to, so they're dead several times over. Vault. 7 cards in hand. This is the turn. Dark Ritual. I'm kind of tempted to just Spell Pierce this. They're not presenting anything. I just wanted to deny the mana. Okay, that was it. So we didn't have to use the other many forms of interaction. And that just goes to show Urza Saga has some inevitability, even if you just have one Phyrexian Dreadnought in your deck. But you wouldn't want to do that generally. It's just in this matchup, I think it was correct to go down to just 1. All right, see you in round 4. All right, round 4, we are 2-1. We are up against the Riddlesmith combo guy. I like this hand. Gosh, does Riddlesmith even play? What? Does it play fetches? No. Yeah, maybe we don't keep this hand. I mean, they played this a lot lately. I think I had played against them and I was like, they can't be on Riddlesmith. Surely not. But then they destroyed me with it. So Plow does answer the Riddlesmith itself, but we don't have white. I think I'm going to mulligan this. On the play, I want to be more aggressive. This is not terrible. I think I'm going to keep and ship. Bad hand. I think I want to mulligan one more time. Okay, this is fine. So what I'll do is I'll just plan to open with a fetch, which is a very nondescript opening. I'll keep a Wasteland for the Urza Saga, because I imagine they have Urza Saga in here. Yeah, for Urza Saga. And this can go after one of their other lands if necessary. I'm going to put these 2 lands back. And I'll just start with a... I'm totally not blue-black Reanimator. Our opponent is very experienced with this deck. Yep, there's the opening we figured they might have. And we had the Wasteland. This is fine. That is a Manamorphose. This is a Mishra's Bauble, which is fine. These are going to be some giant constructs. I mean, I think it's fine, and I think it is correct to shuffle away what they know about. I'm just going to grab a Tundra here. Love a blue card so we can deploy this Tamiyo. All right, there we go. I'm going to get the clock going with Tamiyo. They float and red. Okay, what are they doing with this? Metamorphose, sure. Demand answers as an addition. Draw 2 cards. Sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Okay, interesting. They discarded a land grant. Yep. That's fine. That's interesting. Just going to go ahead and play this out, and I'll pass. And my goal is just to get some sort of value engine so we can outdraw them, because they need card density too. Ancient Tomb. They have 3 mana, 4 mana. Please go all in on something that I can force. Okay, looking at my top card again. All right. Let's see what we draw here. Another Tamiyo. Well, that's going to be force fodder. I'm going to just attack and chill with the clue up. I'm not going to ponder. Next turn, we can potentially flipper if we draw another land. Not that that's necessarily what we want to do. Orcish Bowmaster. I mean, this card would be annoying, but this is not the fight. Yeah, and I should have I should have activated the clue in response. That was sloppy. If they have enough mana to do like a giant thing, we're going to be kind of screwed. This might be gamble. What is this? I don't remember. Sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Demand answers. They discarded. That's fine. More mana. More card disadvantage. Like, they've done so much card disadvantage to themselves. What's this? Gamble? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I think they're going to go for like something big here. Oh, I didn't even see that in their yard. but that is going to get forced. Okay. And that's why you don't force the Bowmasters. So now what we need to do is we need to assemble the combo. We don't know what we're drawing, I don't think. Do we? I don't believe we do. So let's draw hopefully a good card like that's not the worst. We could flip Tamiyo, but it would be at a high price. We could also just chill and not do anything and wait. They're drawing one card a turn. We have the clue, which could emergency flip into... Yeah, I don't want to speed up the clock. I'm going to stack a few more clues, though, in case we get an Urza Saga. I don't mind taking 2 next turn. There's the LED. Oh, no, they had it. They had the other Echo. All right, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to spike a Force of Will. Nope. I'm going to concede. There's no way we're coming back from this. They're going to be able to kill our Tamiyo and deal substantial damage to us. Okay, lots of combo matchups today. All right, so I think in this case, just like last time, we're going to take out the... they are playing red, which is good, so we can bring in the Hydroblasts. I'm going to bring in the Consigns for sure. I think that they hit a lot of stuff in their deck. I'm going to take out the Plows, and I'm going to bring in the PEs. That's a lot of cards. I'm going to also take out the... I think Soul Guide can potentially be good if they like whiff or if they put a Echo in their yard trying to set up. Let's take out 3 of these. I don't think that this card is particularly good here. I think it's pretty terrible. It does stop the initial Bowmaster ping, but that's really all it does. I think we could take out some of these. Let's take a look. Like their list never played. This is a different deck basically than what they're playing. It's not like mono Black Storm because I think we did see other colors. We saw red, we saw green, but it's something like that, and it's playing Urza Saga, which is pretty scary. Yeah, we're not playing the sideboard because we're so heavy on Urza Saga ourselves. I decided not to play the sideboard Dress Down, which I may come to regret. I think Stifle is not that great when they're not fetching lands. Did they fetch lands at all? I think they may have fetched. Let's see. They may not have. I need to be more attentive. Yeah, I don't think they're even playing fetches, so I'm going to take out some of these. There we go. We've got the swords just as like kind of a backstop in case they get like a giant construct. The dream would be to get Curie out. Curie's unlikely to be contested with so few creatures in their deck and do what we did to the previous opponent. Because it's an Urza Saga deck, that's why I'm playing 20 lands. Oh, this is a sick hand. This is exactly what we want. I'm going to think a little bit so they don't think I'm snap keeping, and then I'm going to keep. Then I'm going to snap keep. I think this is an easy like turn 1 Tamiyo hand. And then we've got 2 forms of interaction. Tamiyo can start creating clues. Pitch Curie if absolutely necessary. Obviously, I want to keep her around so we can try to go for the combo. With Bowmaster in their deck, the combo is a little bit dangerous. Urza's Bobble. Interesting. They're doing a lot of bobbles. Already, like, assuming that people aren't going to be playing Vexing Bubble, I guess. Artist Talent. Okay, Reader. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I mean, this feels very much like a, what is that called? The Riddlesmith deck. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less. Okay, and if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent, it deals that much plus 2 instead. Okay, non-combat. So Bowmaster's pinging for 3 instead of for 1. Seems pretty good. They're going to have to invest a lot of mana in this. Yeah, but like initially, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I mean, maybe they just keep it on the 1. I don't know. I don't feel like that's correct to interact with that. Okay, they're passing. Like the big card we need to counter is the one that ends the game. We could go ahead and Curie here. I don't think there's a problem with doing that. It does take us off Force and Daze, but they have so much mana, I'm starting to think that Daze is not going to be reliable. I'm also starting to think that they may not have an answer for Force anyway, with all the artifacts they're playing, they can't be playing Force themselves, I don't think. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this out. We'll see how dead we are. It's fine. They're going to look at a random card in our hand. We revealed Force. Okay, so they know. They know they are not safe to try to go off. Except they can just level up. Actually, they don't have enough. Okay, they're going to show us our entire hand. That's fine. So we can take a look at their hand first before we decide whether to force this. Gamble, defense grid. Okay. Let's see. Search your library for a forest. Okay, so they don't have a red source other than their lotus petal. And if they use that lotus petal, they're not going to be able to do anything else. This is our window for us to force something before they get the ability. Yeah, because, well, they could defense grid and then they have blue and red. So what they could do over 2 turns is they could gamble and then they could abrade. Let's say hypothetically they do go get like a Tundra or a Taiga here. Then they have gamble immediately and they can immediately go for the combo. Let's see, they would have 1, 2 for defense grid, 3, 4, 5. It's also worth noting they have a braid here, which is pretty damn powerful against us. This is, I think, defense grid is pretty problematic, but they can gamble, get LED, but they don't have the actual thing. I think we let this go. We will have enough mana, at least for 1 turn, to force even around defense grid, and we're going to draw extra cards next turn. I'm just trying to think if we were to force this, then they have to play out the defense grid, and then they also have to use the pedal. At the same time, I could just daze this, and then they don't have defense grid up anymore. No, they would just be able to pay, and then go and get the land. I think I'm going to force this. This might be a mistake. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you think this is wrong. They've seen the force. Now they're going to play the defense grid. It's too late. They get to draw a card and discard a card. They discard the abrade. I'm glad about that. Did they draw the ability to shuffle everything? Or, sorry, shuffle everything. The Echo of Eons is what my brain is struggling to produce. We would need to draw both a land and a... we need to draw both a land and a prismatic ending to be able to get rid of defense grid. I'm not convinced this is even strong enough. So they're legend rolling their Mox Opal. Now they have the mana to potentially wear down. Okay, destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the gift was promised instead, destroy 2. Okay, what is the gift? Gift a card. Okay. Draw a card before the other effects. Okay, that's pretty good. It also lets them draw and discard. Can't do anything about that. Okay, Wasteland's good. We can hit the Ancient Tomb. I think that's what we're going to do here. Try to like squeeze their mana. Force is a good pickup. Unfortunately, it's not good enough, I don't think. I think we do go after the... Do we go after the mana? I'm going to attack first, and I'm going to think about this. I think we do go after the mana, and then we've got Urza Saga next turn. Yeah, and we have Plow Up if they somehow get a creature. But we're not going to be able to do it during their turn. Okay, they're gambling. They can draw and discard. They gamble Eons into the yard. They don't have the mana for it currently. Urza's Bauble. Okay. Okay. They're going to get a card next turn. All right, so I'm certainly going to get wheeled next turn, which is very sad. I think I do go ahead and get the Urza Saga ticking up. And I'm just going to attack, create a clue, and we're going to have giant Saga tokens if we get another land and we get a chance. But I think we'll probably be dead by then. No point in drawing with a clue here just because they've got the defense grid, and if they're able to wheel us, they're able to wheel us. Green... Aether Spellbomb so they can draw a discard. Oh, wow. This is good for us because I'm going to draw. Because next turn we're going to have the ability to force. Let's go ahead and attack here. We can pass. If they don't make us force, then we have the Urza Saga to create the construct. That's fine. Okay, they seem to be passing. So we're going to go ahead and create our construct here. If we create another construct, oh wow. If we create another construct, that's pretty good. But that does shut us off from interaction. We've already drawn for the turn though. I think we do. Now we're going to go get our Soul Guide Lantern. We probably should have taken the... yeah, we'll just get this. No, we definitely shouldn't have taken anything out. I'm going to get their Echo of Eons. I think that's a very obvious take. And now we're going to start attacking them for 7, and then next turn for dead. They have 1 turn to figure out a way to string together a win. Okay, they are veiling, which doesn't matter, but I'm not sure what it does. It just gives them a draw discard. Ancient Tomb. They did find an Echo, so this is bad. So we're locked out. We've got these giant constructs, but if they can win this turn... Yeah, maybe that making that second construct... Well, it wouldn't have mattered. We didn't have the mana. I think it was correct to make the construct. There's the gamble. Are they going to spin us again? They have been using this a lot. Maybe this is just playing better than Riddlesmith combo. But they still need the artifact that like lets them like put them into exile so they don't lose the cards. We're spinning again. I don't see a... okay, so they have one more. I hope I'm not making a mistake and that there was some window in which I could have interacted there. I don't think there was. If there was a window for me to interact there and I just missed it with the Soul Guide Lantern, please let me know. Okay, they've got a lot of mana now. They have 3 more cards in hand. Manamorphose. Another Manamorphose. 14 Storm. They're getting close to the kill with Grape Shot. There's the gamble. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a window for me to respond. Yep, there was no window for me to respond. This might be the last relevant opportunity for me to like exile some of their stuff. They have 2 LEDs in the yard. I think we wait. I don't think it's worth like shutting off 2 potential LEDs. They just have to find Tendrils and some Manamorphose to filter it. They already have 1 black mana on the table. Grape Shot is 2 Storm away. They level it up. Now they're casting that. Nothing I can do about this. They draw a card. 42 cards in their deck. They still have a lot of stuff they have to sift through. I mean, if they have the mana to just go get Grape Shot with a Burning Wish, then I'm dead because of the defense grid. There's a gamble again. This is probably for Grape Shot. Please put Grape Shot in the yard. That will be so clutch. Nope, we're dead. Good games. All right, well, that was a lot of doing nothing, sitting around behind the defense grid. I think it was totally fine because they were going to play with the defense grid and we were never going to be able to force stuff anyway. We did eventually get the force, but like they would have been able to probably have a lot more momentum had we not interacted. So let's go to the final round and see if we can get a positive record with our, admittedly so far feeling pretty suboptimal compared to what we were playing yesterday with Jorge, but still I like the Urza Saga is just really, it's a really fun card. And that was one of the things I really liked about playing Breakfast back in the day was just being able to create Saga tokens. Like they were 1 turn from death and they did have to, we made them have it, and they had it, but it was really cool to just be able to see that interaction between Tamiyo clues and giant constructs. All right, we're up. Delver. Okay. They said, hey, huge fan of the stream. Good luck, have fun. And I know you look people up, so it's Delver. Lol. I don't think it's Delver. This person Magic Ads. Any relation to Magic Dads if you're watching? All right. So if they're actually on Delver, I think the start is just, I mean, we could test that theory, but I'm going to float the island out there. No, I think I'm going to put the Misty Rainforest because it's more ambiguous as to what I could be on. Then next turn, we have the option of curing if we don't think they're on Delver. You're most welcome as an older legacy player. The way that you conduct yourself, major respect. Wow, Magic Ads is really laying it on thick. You're making me blush. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start this, and I hope what he's referring to is just the way that I try to like be generous to my opponents and not like trash talk and stuff. Like that's just not my style. Like sometimes I'll celebrate, but I hope it never comes across as excessive, like booyah type stuff. The gray hairs can do that, indeed, and I do have some gray hair on my chin. I haven't gotten into my hair yet, but it's just a matter of time, right? All right, Island Start, Brainstorm. Okay, so Delver in quotes. Okay, I'm going to hit the doubt button here because a Delver player starting with a Brainstorm, maybe they are, and they're just like incredibly good at like throwing me off their case, but I think that there's a decent chance this Curie resolves. So we have the option of just being patient and playing Curie next turn and doing Tamiyo this turn and keeping up days with days protection. I think that that's fine. So I'm going to go get my my Tundra. Also, this is going to give them some ambiguity as to which of these they should target. I mean, well, Curie can definitely hit. I think Tamiyo's safe. I'm going to play conservatively in the blind. My opponent has said they're Delver, but like that doesn't mean they're necessarily Delver. They put it in quotes. Okay, they're a post-combat land drop person. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, they're fetching. I'm just glad I'm not getting wasted here. Okay, they have blue-white. Now they're brainstorming. All right, after the fetch. Interesting timing. I'm not sure what they're doing here. Like this gives me breakfast vibes a little bit. They could be on like some blue-white variant, which would be cool. Right. Force is a great rip. Wow. So I do have the option of just kicking back and dropping constructs. I don't think that's bad. I've got the Tamiyo cranking. They're presenting me with, the mana to cast Plow, and I don't really want to be countering a Plow when I can get two constructs uncounterably on the table. I think that's better. Also, we can wait to the end step after sorcery speed stuff. They've been making their land drops. I'll give them that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I do here. Do the construct game. Plow on that. That is totally fine. She's paid for herself already. Now I think we probably go get another Urza Saga construct. And then we just attack them for a lot. I do think it's correct to do this. I'm going to create the token. And if they have a dress down, much respect to them for playing dress down. I love dress down as a card. And I hope to play it more once the meta slows down a little bit after the bans. This is dress down. I will probably at least days address down. Okay. So we are going to get our search. We're going to grab the Lava Spur. Very spicy inclusion. Now we're going to play this. We're going to fetch. We didn't need to do that, though. We could have just grabbed... Okay, are they going to stifle this? They're just going to surveil? All right. Okay, so now I think we can grab another Tundra is my instinct. Because they did get a non-basic, which makes me think they're not about to just, back to basics us out of existence. Let's hook this guy up. And now we're going to hit for 9. This does not feel like fair Magic to me. That clue, buffing both of these, just super clutch. Like Tamiyo definitely paid out. Next turn, we have lethal with Curie on the table if they don't interact. Cavern, okay. Wizard, okay. Is this another Wizards deck? Shuko. Well, if they have Nadu, it's not the end of the world. My instinct is we should force this. They could blow us out with a daze here. We have a daze back, which can keep them out of Nadu territory. Okay. All right. They are not dead now. They are taking 9 if they pass. Narcomoeba. Okay, so they're definitely on breakfast. Okay, so now that we're untapped, we don't really have to worry about a lot of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and I'm just going to attack and pass. And now we've got like a lot of points of interaction here. Plowing means they're not dead, so I'm just going to hold my plow. They're obliged to chump here. We've got more constructs in the bank. We've got days, we've got double plow, we've got clue activation, we've got a lot of options. Brainstorm's fine. Misty Rainforest, it's not showing up for some reason, but it showed up in the log. Like, it's weird, like people ask me, why do you always keep the log open? So I can have a little more time to react to stuff, because sometimes MTGO lags a little bit. Okay. I will plow Nadu so hard. That's fine. There is the Nomad, so now we have to plow this. Do they have the punish, like the Veil? I mean, I would have days for Veil anyway. Okay, and now Nomads resolves, but I mean, technically it's not an extra turn because I can just make my constructs larger. That's fine. I'm not going to ponder. I'm not going to Days of Ponder. Even when they have this much mana out, I think I just need to be judicious. I've got the win on the table, right? And they are passing priority. No reason to crack this clue. Well, let's think about this. Let's play correctly, right? We could crack this clue. Then we have a 3/4 and a 4/4, and then we create, and then we've got 2 4/4s that'll get through. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and crack the clue here. I'm going to keep the white up just in case, and I'll crack this clue. Again, super shouldn't matter, but just in case it does matter. Doorkeeper is just another axis upon which we have this under control. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make the construct, and I'll equip, and then we'll be attacking with 3 of them. They said they're watching my Dreadnought video as we speak. Like when I play, like I have to play in absolute silence. I don't do anything. I'm sitting in a room completely by myself with no distractions. Just like a window that I can look out to like kind of reduce eye strain. That's it. All right. So I'm trying to think of a way that they could blow me out here. I think we've got it though. I've flooded so badly. Yeah, they conceded. Okay, so they're on breakfast, Nadu breakfast. I think the strategy here is bring in the prismatic endings. It deals with both the Nomads and the Shuko. And I do think bringing in at least one Fairy Macabre is justified. I think Soul Guide is going to be a welcome inclusion to this deck. I don't like Consign in this matchup. I realize it stops the trigger, but that's not the fight. I do think that this is a take out one of the Dreadnoughts matchup. And I do think this is, like, even though they flooded really hard, I do like the idea of keeping in Dazes. Maybe that's incorrect on the draw. Yeah, I think I'm going to take out the Dazes. We keep Spell Pierce in. They're not going to play around Spell Pierce. It's the beauty of having like a 1 of Spell Pierce. Like, it doesn't make sense to play around Spell Pierce. It's one of those things like, oh, damn, they had it, you know? But you don't really play around it. And Spell Pierce can stop like some of their disruption. Actually, in this matchup, like they're playing a lot of anti Dreadnought stuff. I think this is a -3 Dreadnought matchup. We still have like lots of paths to the Dreadnought thanks to Saga being in our deck, but we can have a little bit more interaction here. Yeah, I like this. Actually, Fairy Macabre is just completely unbeatable. Like, they cannot stop it. I think I'm going to keep that in as just further insulation from that part of the combo. I realize that it's quite likely that these are completely dead if they go the Nadu route. We're going to try to stop the Nadu route. And if we get a Fairy Macabre in hand, then we know that we can go all in on stopping the Nadu route. Doorkeeper's role is not very good against Nadu as well, unfortunately. This hand has 2 answers to them doing the combo route. It also has the Urza Saga path to a Dreadnought with Curie. This is a snap keep. There's opening Tamiyo quite strong. I'm not going to waste. I'm just going to let Tamiyo chill and accrue value, unfortunately. So this is one of those situations where we could just Urza Saga into Soul Guide, and then next turn we could Curie. They do have days. They have plow. They've got a lot of stuff going on over there. But even if they plow our Curie, we do have Doorkeeper's role, so we can get the Phyrexian Dreadnought into play. I think it makes sense to go ahead and get cooking. And And then to also, just because we have colorless mana. I mean, this, at the very least, it draws. It cycles itself, for 1 mana, basically. If they daze this or force this, it's so good because we have the fairy, and that'll tell us that they're planning the graveyard route. If they attempt to prismatic end this, we can just sack it and draw a card. Oh, wait, actually, we have to pay 1 mana to draw a card. Never mind. So they could just cleanly PE this. All right, and we're passing to them with an answer to one of their paths to victory on the table. And we're taking up toward Phyrexian Dreadnought Armageddon. They kept. They can attack. They have mana now. I am somewhat tempted to waste the Tundra before I commit to getting Curie on the table, but actually I don't have the luxury of doing that because then the Urza Saga will go off before I can do anything. So I think I need to play the Curie this turn. And then if they put resources to get rid of Curie, are they going to end this? They're thinking about it. Yeah. Nomad. Yeah, that's scary. That makes me want to waste a green source. I'm not going to lie. But we can't waste a green source, unfortunately. We just have to hope that they don't have the Nadu. Do we? Do we have to do that? We don't have a good target for Phyrexian or for Urza Saga. We drew a second one. Okay, so I want to take a calculated risk with Nadu. They very much could have land Nadu in their 4 cards, and there's just nothing we can do. They could have just played this out and not have any game plan for that. I'm going to play the Curie. I'm going to play to a world where we win next turn as opposed to losing next turn. So the only interaction we now have is Fairy Macabre for their graveyard and redundant. Okay, there we go. This is probably Nadu. Are they? They always pass post combat and then they do it. Yeah, that's fine. It makes sense to go ahead and create the clue first in case they do like brainstorm or something. But if they have it, they have it. All right. Yep, they have it. So I'm going to see what they flip. They get 12 cards. Consign. They get land. They can consign triggers. They can do a lot of stuff. I mean, 12 cards, right? Like there's no way that I'm getting through. But in some crazy miracle of a situation where I get through, I want to capture that on film. On film. As though like I'm using an old school camera filming. This is a screen share. OBS. Okay. They got brainstorm. They've got mana. They get like there's no way that we're getting through. I'm going to attempt to get through though. Unless they reveal plow. At this point, if they reveal plow, then we're done. The other thing is they could try to combo out and win through the graveyard, like prismatic end this and think they're safe. Yeah, they reveal the plow. They're brainstorming though. That flips their Tamiyo, but now they need to go find another land in order to have plow back up. Okay. Tamiyo can reduce the power by 1. Which doesn't really matter because if I'm attacking for 12. All right. And actually flipping Tamiyo is good for me because it's one less thing they can target here. So in their top 4 cards, they need to find a white source. I'm going to go for this. I think it's extremely unlikely to work, but I'm going to go for it. Okay, so now we're going to have an idea of whether it's likely to resolve. Another plow. Okay. They need the white source, though. They found the white source. Okay. Now, are they going to plow in response, or what are they going to do here? The smart thing is to just wait and see what I do. Because I only have 2 mana. I can only do 2 things. Okay. So with that white on the stack, they can go ahead and plow that. Nothing I can do there. They have another plow for next turn. They haven't flipped a force. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Doorkeeper Roll. And I am going to get this into play, and I am going to attack them. Oh, they did have a force. I guess it was in hand. Okay, we can concede now. All right. So let's go to game 3. So we're going to be on the play. Fairy Macabre was a dead draw there. I like Soul Guide. Soul Guide makes me not think that I need 3 Fairy Macabre. Maybe just like 1, if even that. I think the daisies come back in for sure. And we could bring these back in as a way to like just close the game quickly. Take out the fairies. I could have showed them my hand and been like, hey, look, I had this fairy the whole time and you went the Nadu route. Ha ha ha. You know, like that might have been a tactic, but that would probably they'd probably be like, oh yeah, you're totally boarding those out now that you've shown me. I don't know that we need all three of these. I feel like Curie is good though. If we can get her going. I mean, with Doorkeeper's Roll, it feels like total overkill to also have Fairy Macabre. Let's see. I mean, Spell Pierce, they're not going to expect it, but it's just not that great. Like, when they're going off, they have lots of stuff. Daze does stop their actual creatures, whereas Spell Pierce can't, and I have to keep mana up for it. I think maybe I go down on one Prismatic Ending. Let's try this. They could definitely have like Carpet of Flowers or something that makes me wish that I had a second Prismatic Ending. But I'm going to try to be really aggressive here. We do have lots of stack-based interaction. We can mana screw them through Stifle. They do have a lot of land, and they seem to be finding a lot of land. Magic Ads. I wonder, Magic Ads, if you're watching and you leave a comment, like, is that a reference to Magic Dads, the famous Reanimator player? I think this is good. We've got Plow. We've got Ending. We have a strong start in being able to Tamiyo turn 1, and Tamiyo turn 1 is not trivial. Okay. My kids watch and cheered, lol. 30 seconds left. Okay. Well, they really are literally watching the video I uploaded last week, which is really cool. I think we hide the fact that we have white mana. I just don't know. I don't want to use the fetch until I need to. I don't think there's any chance that they're going to interact here with our our lands. All right. They are repping for Legacy of the North up in Ontario. They a whole lot of people from the Monolith from Jim. Yeah. So a whole lot of the Ontario players went to Eternal Weekend. And so like there was a ton of people wearing Legacy of the North type shirts and stuff. Okay, this is a removal spell. That's fine. So they're not able to win next turn unless they're playing like a pedal-powered version. Lotus Petal. I could just chill. My interaction is pretty weak though. But in-step Doorkeeper's Roll is not nothing. It does apply the tiniest bit of pressure, and also it makes them wonder if they're about to get dreadnoughted. It might draw a Plow. Well, now that I drew Curie, I'm pretty sure the answer is to play Curie. Curie's better. I mean, she'll draw me cards and stuff. And if they have a second removal spell for Curie, that's a bummer. Or if they daze this. If they daze it, it sets them back a turn. If they force it, it's even better for me. All right. So if Curie can get on the table and start drawing cards, I'll be very happy, and I have a good way to clear the path for her. Okay, they're fetching. This could be Prismatic Ending, or this could just be like them playing out some sort of combo piece. Prismatic Ending. Yep. Not a lot I can do about that. I just have to get through their removal. They're building up their mana base. Like he may very well be able to ratchet up enough, be able to get through my interaction. The problem with Prismatic Ending is without Teferi, it's not instant speed, and that's a big deal. Land would be good. Creature would be even better. Brainstorm is great. I'm going to Brainstorm. I don't really need this Prismatic Ending. I want to see if I can find some action. All right, that's great that we're not going to draw these. I'm going to put these back. Play my land for turn. I think we just pass here. I mean, there is a chance. Okay, I think I am going to go ahead and play this out just to have it on the table, just in case they untap and have the combo. I don't have to desperately burn a Plow. My opponent said, our Legacy Championship is coming up in January. I hope Nadu stays. We'll see whether Nadu stays in less than 24 hours from the time that I'm recording this. Let's go ahead and take out their Plow. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think they have any graveyard recursion in their deck. And let's pass. We have Plow up, and we're not doing a lot. We're just chilling. But we have shut off the combo win. It's fine. I mean, we have wastelands, we have lots of cards that we can draw that can slow them down. But likely we're probably just going to draw, dazes and forces that we don't really want. We'll see. But this Soul Guide, it would be a mistake to crack it ever, in my humble opinion, unless there's absolute desperation. That's fine. I can just cleanly end that. They don't have mana up to be able to brainstorm. So this works out pretty well for us. And this is most definitely something that, in my humble opinion, you want to end. I forgot to fetch. Okay, well, it's actually not that bad because now we have a little extra land. We don't really need the land. I'm going to go ahead and just plow here or end here. Yeah, that was bad. I should have fetched. All this play banter is getting me off my game. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop the... Am I going to drop the island? I like holding it because if we do find a brainstorm, I want to brainstorm it back. Like, we really don't need that much mana in play. If we decide to play it later, we can. This is where not having a surveil land in the deck, kind of like you feel it. That's fine. So even though we've been 1-for-1 answering each other, their mana base is growing and they are getting closer to a Nadu win. I don't think they likely have dazes in their deck right now. I do think it's correct to go ahead and go for Doorkeeper here. But I could get punished. That's fine. Okay, so that will most likely get plowed. And we want to definitely be ready to fight over the plow. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt a Doorkeeper now. Keep in mind that this does, if we do want to draw for this, to potentially draw into interaction to stop Nadu, we are going to need to pay a mana next turn. So we want to have as much mana as we can have. I'm going to feel really bad if this gets dazed. Okay, it's in. All right. Let's bring the beats. This is a good draw. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first. Brainstorm is great. We can put back the... double daze is not terrible. I think we put the Phyrexian Dreadnought on the table. We can't draw both dazes, though. But it's possible that double daze does stop Nadu next turn. I don't think we can live in that world, though. I think I need to put the Dreadnought down this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and play out the land. Just going to play the Dreadnought. If they plow this, I'll be sad. Okay. If they plow the Doorkeeper, I'll be sad is what I meant to say. All right. So we have them dead in 2 turns, but it's going to be kind of touch and go. We have a daze on top of our deck that we can fetch. We're drawing another daze, which is not a good draw. They didn't fetch, so they may like what they have on top. If they play a 4th land, I'll be really sad, because that means I definitely have to plow the Nomads when they put the Nadu on the stack. It's possible that they do have like Cephalid Wizard and stuff like Cephalid Illusionist in hand. Teferi would be a nightmare. Luckily, we can daze. I want them to use mana to cantrip so it increases the likelihood of my daze working. Okay, Ponder's fine. They are looking at probably 5 more 1-mana exile removal spells in a deck of 46 cards. So pretty good chances of finding it off a Ponder and a Shuffle. They didn't shuffle, which is bad news. Okay, they're fetching. This probably means they found removal, but I'm not sure. Okay, they're passing, which is great for us. So we're going to have double days up. They're kicking it. This is okay. This doesn't answer our spell. I think I would have to crack the Soul Guide to get access to the days. I don't think that's the fight. I'm going to let it happen. Now we're just going to pass. We can't do anything this turn. Yeah, that's the first time I've seen that used in that way in a while. I used to love playing Orm's Chant back before Nadu got printed, but now, of course, everybody just, plays Nadu. So, but I guess there's an Orm Chant that made it into this list. Okay, they threw away a land. So the usefulness of our days is rapidly fading here. But if they go for Nadu this turn, we can potentially daze it. Blue, white. Teferi is going to eat a daze here. I'm not a huge fan of Teferi here. Don't really want him bouncing my Phyrexian Dreadnought back to hand. Okay. All right, we are going to be able to attack for 12. Or 13, actually. Drawing another daze. which probably won't do anything now since they've got 4 mana out, and I don't think they have any 4 mana spells in their deck. We just have to hope that they're not able to get rid of this in time. If they draw Nadu, us plowing might be enough to win. Okay, that's extra mana. Our daisies are worse now. All right, let's see what they have in terms of interaction. Nadu hits the table. They have another Nomad. I mean, this sucks, but I think what we have to do is probably go ahead and trigger this. There's a chance that we find something here. Oh, so good. So good. They get a trigger. They have 1 card in hand. Even if they reveal they reveal the Ponder, okay. Wow. I think we survive. I think we're going to be able to win now. That was very necessary. This is fine. I'm not going to stop this. Because they're dead. They've already made their land drop. They said, no! Awesome, Darth Vader. No, over there from the dad. All right, awesome. What's that soul guy draw? Yes, I had days in hand, but not enough. So my opponent, they didn't necessarily have the win, but they would have been able to look at 8 cards and potentially find a plow in there somewhere. They hadn't seen a single plow. Yeah, my opponent scoops, and they said they tried to play around the days. So let's take a look at the list. First of all, they had Force of Negation too, so that wouldn't have helped, unfortunately. But they did draw a Prismatic Ending. Yeah, so we got a 3-2 record, positive record. Let's take a look at the list. So first of all, I don't know how good of a card Ghost Vacuum is. It's always seemed kind of meh. But I know that Soul Guide is a good card. Soul Guide was very good. The fact that we could both draw and stop their graveyard shenanigans and stick them behind the 8-ball just in case they did want to take the graveyard route, that was really clutch. I think, especially considering Frog is about to be banned, there's no way that playing that many Fairy Macabre is correct. With Soul Guide in your deck and so many Urza Sagas to go find it, it feels like any game where they're just not immediately using the graveyard, you can lock it down. I think that we could... I'm not a fan of Force Negation. Like, I own 4 negations in paper. I own 4 for here. I just think that right now, like, you don't want to go down even more cards unless you're against a truly, combo. And actually, I think at least one of our losses was to the true combo deck. So, I mean, you could argue that having a Force Negation would work there. Being able to remove something for 3 mana never came up, but this getting wastelanded never came up either. So I think that this is net positive. I'm not the only person who's playing Volcanic Island in their 75 just to be able to get a 3rd color for Prismatic Ending. I mean, we are talking about 3 Prismatic Endings here. So in terms of like making this deck more competitive, I think you could probably include 1 or more Oculi. I think it's just 1. Personally, like I would never want to draw a 3-drop, like a second 3-drop, especially when you also have to have 6 cards to exile. Curie continued to be amazing. We did get the combo a couple times. Doorkeeper Thrall is like probably the weakest card in the deck. It can enable wins, and certainly it was helpful there at the end. Like, I mean, really that last game was probably brought to us by Doorkeeper Thrall, but I think we could go down to 3. I don't know, because like when you have the Urza Sagas and you're getting the Dreadnoughts even more frequently, it feels wrong to do that. But you could also argue that we could go down to 3 Dreadnoughts because we've got these. I would say on a whole, drawing an Urza Saga is much better than drawing a Phyrexian Dreadnought. Like, you draw a Phyrexian Dreadnought, it does literally nothing unless you have an enabler. But you draw an Urza Saga, it's a freaking Urza Saga, and it's a really good card, really flexible. We won several games with the constructs. So I'm going to keep tinkering, but my instinct is that Urza Saga is quite good. And when you're playing this many Urza Saga, maybe you do want to go down on days. You definitely don't want to have too many wastelands. You definitely can't afford to play non-blue lands because right here, 6 cards out of the 20 are non-islands, and you need to have your islands to be able to ponder turn one, to be able to daze, to be able to play Tamiyo, who's still insane. This card is really, really good, and I hope it showed up. Like, I hope you saw that one game where I had like all those clues in play, and I was attacking for like 7, 8, 9, like just ridiculous amounts, because I had like an extra clue or two in play. I think Urza Saga and Tamiyo are really good in control shells. One thing that, I think that Urza Saga could actually be really good in a Tamiyo shell that's like Jeskai, that doesn't play all these creatures, because it is a creature-based avenue you can go down, which does have card advantage. If you're playing Jeskai and you're just not doing anything for the first few turns, Urza Saga seems totally legit, because you don't necessarily want to be playing your Planeswalkers into days anyway. And like, there are other good targets in addition to Soul Guide Lantern, but I do think Lava Spur Boots, if you're playing Curie, absolutely slam dunk. I think this list is fine. The only real deviations, again, from Jorge's list is the exclusion of the 3 Oculi and adding more land. I think this does need to play 20 land. I think you can't play an Urza Saga land that's also playing Urza Saga that's also playing wastelands that have like, you need at least 14 blue sources, in my humble opinion. So I think it's totally fine to go up to 20. I also never liked Sink into Stupor that much. It does come up sometimes, but it's not a great card, in my humble opinion. It's much better to have an island that you can bounce. And I still like having 2 basic islands. 2 basic islands plus Urza Saga means you're much more likely to get the activations and stuff, and you're much less likely to find yourself where they're wasting your non-Saga lands and stranding you with no land. So I could talk about this a whole lot, but I think what's going to be better is just to play a whole lot of leagues and get better at it. There was a time in, I think, round 2 where I missed lethal. I could have attacked with Curie, exiled the Dreadnought, and won, but I missed it. So I clearly need more reps. So those are my thoughts, and they'll continue to evolve. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.